See, I don't see it, Gary. See, you talk a big game, but where are they? Where are the protesters? Where are the signs? Nothing. Exactly. You just don't know who really holds the power here, and it's me. Hello, everyone. Jerryactric here with Jerryactric Midnight Movie Review, and tonight it was the third of the rebooted Star Trek films, Star Trek Beyond. Now, there was a lot of concern when this movie started to get announced. It was because J.J. Abrams, of course, had to prepare for the other space movie he was making, a little movie called Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And so he handed it over to Justin Lin, who is well known for the Fast and the Furious trilogy. This movie was very good. It felt to me like in these rebooted films, like this was the first one where it seemed to be more rooted to the original. Now, I know my Star Trek. I loved the Next Generation. My favorite series is, of course, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and I've seen all the films. So, I'm a little bit of a Trekkie. So, I think I'm qualified to judge this movie. The basic premise of the movie is, halfway through its 5-year mission, if you remember, the crew of the Starship Enterprise is starting to fray almost. Kirk is starting to realize that he's starting not to like space travel anymore. Spock and Uhura are having trouble in their relationship, and it just seems that this crew is not as together as it should be. When an alien comes and says that her ship has been attacked, the crew of the Enterprise go, which they think is going to be a quick rescue mission, which it turns out not to be. There's a dangerous person or species of this planet named Krill, who has decided that he wants to wage war on the Federation, and discovering why he wants to do that is part of the fun of this film. I liked it. There was a lot of action, but not to the point where you felt like they were trying to jam something not into Star Trek. As I said, this felt more like almost a lost episode of the original series, where it's funny and there's still a good message there about what determines how strong. Is it being ruthless and mercenary like Krill believes, or is it sticking together like Captain Kirk and his crew believe? Of course, Chris Pine, again in the captain's chair, is Captain Kirk, who, I didn't really realize until I saw this movie, but he's grown very comfortable into this role. He feels like Kirk. He's not doing a William Shatner impersonation of Kirk. He's acting like how he believes Kirk would act, and it's very true. Zachary Quinto, of course, who I love as Spock, deals with some heavy things. Of course, this movie is released after the unfortunate passing of the original Spock, Leonard Nimoy, and they actually put that in there. Spock, Ambassador Spock, or Spock Prime, has died. And that kind of sets off Zachary Quinto's Spock into what does he believe his purpose is. I must say, though, my favorite character, and I loved him from the first of the rebooted Star Trek, is Urban. Carl Urban as Bones, McCoy. I've realized that he's not even doing an impersonation or like Chris Pine where he's trying to get to the root of the character. It literally seems like the ghost of Leonard Bones, McCoy, he's just a vessel for it. He's exactly like you believe Bones would be. And it's just, he's just a wonder in every scene. He's funny, but he's also very true to the character. Krill is played by, and let's see if I can say this right, Idris Elba, guy you would know, the gatekeeper in the Thor movies, about to be in the Dark Tower. He's going to be Roland, who, it's very hard. I've read a lot of things where actors talk about how hard it is to act under the makeup of Star Trek because it kind of feels like they can't act. But he does a very good job. Kroll is a very interesting villain. I think of these rebooted films, he is the best villain. Nothing against Benedict Cumberbatch and his version of the villain. I almost did a spoiler there if you haven't seen the second one. Or trying to think, who was the guy who played Nero in the first one? can't think of his name right now. But this character seems, it's not just evil. He's not for a purpose. He feels like his mission has overwhelmed him to the point where he seems to sag. His shoulders, like he's carrying the weight of something terrible. And that's always good in the Star Trek universe for a good villain. Somebody who's not just evil, but somebody who has taken a mission or a purpose to the point where it is all-consuming. The action is great. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of funny stuff in here. But again, it's very true to the Star Trek. I don't think Gene Roddenberry would have been upset about this. So if you are a Star Trek fan and you've kind of wondered if you were going to see this movie or not, see it. It's fun. It's great. It's very true to the Star Trek vision. PG-13. There is action, but it is the Federation, so there's not a lot of sex or swearing. There is a little bit, but... so yeah, go check it out. Also, of course, this film was marked by the tragic passing of Anton Yelchin. Again, I'm sorry to say that, who died in a very unfortunate accident. But it's a great role, and as Chekhov, and he's just amazing in it. So yeah, go check it out. It's great, and I'm very interested. I've heard they've already started getting ready for 4, and I'm very interested to see where they're going to go there. So, this is Jerryactric, Midnight Movie Review, telling you, if you're not going to the movies, then what are you doing with your life? Oh, I'll see. That's what you're saying. See, Gary, here's the thing, okay? I can't fire you. We've gone through that in other videos, okay? But you know what? If you're going to work here, you got to realize who the boss is. Because if you don't, Gary, then what do you mean you were giving me a chance to reconsider, to apologize? I'm not going to apologize. Gary, I'm not going to do it, okay? I'm not going to do it. If we're going to work, then you have to realize I'm the boss, you're the producer, and that's just how it goes. And you've got nothing. There's nothing you can do to me. And, because it is so much better than I thought it was going to be. If you're a fan of the original Ghostbusters, keep your eyes out. Everybody's in this, and I do mean everybody.